Welcome back to part 4 of A History of Yankee Stadium. If you missed the earlier parts, click the card in the corner to watch them and get caught up. Thank you for being here, and let's dive in. As America plunged deeper into the war in Europe and the Pacific, more and more ballplayers either enlisted or were drafted into service. Heading into the 1943 season, the Yankees had to retool quickly, and they did just that. Despite the heavy loss of talent, the Bronx Bombers finished the season with 98 wins, taking the American League. Star pitcher Spud Chandler won the MVP that season, giving the Yankees 3 in a row. Even with stars overseas and uncertainty everywhere, the games went on, and so did the dominance of the Yankees. Claiming their usual spot in the Fall Classic, they got themselves a rematch of the previous year's World Series against the Cardinals. This series was structured unusually because of wartime travel restrictions. For the sake of saving on materials for war, the Yankees would host their 3 games to start the series before playing the Final 4 in St. Louis. Starting in New York, the Yankees took Game 1 of the series with a 4-2 win. Game 2 was a 4-3 Yankee loss to even up the series. 69,990 fans attended Game 3, the final game of the year in New York. Thrilling those fans, the Yankees took the game 6-2 to take a crucial lead in the series as it pivoted to St. Louis for the remainder of the games. Game 4 picked up 3 days later at Sportsman Park, where the Yankees took the game 2-1. With a chance to clinch the series and dish out revenge from the 42 series, the Yankees turned to Spud Chandler to shut the Cards down. And he did just that to the tune of a 2-0 shutout. Even with the world at war, talent draining from the league, and attendance diminished, the Yankees still found ways to win. As the 1944 season approached, the war grew in intensity, and even more Yankees were called to service. Losing 2 starting pitchers, their catcher, second baseman, and an outfielder, the talent drain became too much for the Yankees, and they failed to defend their pennant. Still finishing with a solid 83-win season, they would end up finishing only 6 games out of first place. Those same issues carried over to the following season, leading the Yankees to 81 wins in 1945 and a 4th place finish. 1945 would prove to be a pivotal year for the Yankees organization, as it would be the final year of the war and thus the final year without their stars. The organization and stadium also managed their first ownership change when a conglomerate of Larry MacPhail, Dan Topping, and Del Webb purchased them from the Rupert estate at a cost of $2.8 million, equal to about $50.5 million in 2026. With the war over and the nation's collective minds at ease, 1946 experienced an explosion of interest in baseball. Lights were installed at Yankee Stadium in May, with the first night game taking place on May 28th in front of 49,917. For the first time, Yankee Stadium glowed into the Bronx night. Those nearly 50,000 fans there witnessed the Yankees fall to the Washington Senators in a 2-1 thriller. The ability to host night games, combined with the excitement of a world out of war, meant that Yankee Stadium was bustling all season long, absolutely obliterating its own attendance record by hosting over 2.26 million fans throughout the season. Play on the field improved only marginally, and the Yankees dealt with some serious volatility at the manager position when McCarthy retired due to health in May. Regardless of those road bumps, fans everywhere rejoiced as they could enjoy baseball with the threat and pain of war no longer present. Following the season, another 3rd place finish for the Yanks, team president Larry MacPhail announced that they would undertake massive renovations that could increase Yankee Stadium's capacity to over 100,000. While MacPhail's plans were grand and reflected an intense post-war optimism, they never materialized. The disappointment from the unrealized renovation was easily tempered when the Yankees returned to their pennant-winning form in 1947, winning 97 games and claiming the American League by 12 games over the Detroit Tigers. Yankee Stadium saw another massive turnout, easily leading the league with a total attendance of 2.17 million, who witnessed a third MVP effort from their star center fielder, Joe DiMaggio. Waiting for them in the World Series was their crosstown rival, Brooklyn Dodgers, looking to get their revenge from the 1941 World Series. Immediately prior to the World Series, the Yankees hosted the first Old Timers game on September 28th to honor Babe Ruth. The Old Timers game would go on to become an annual tradition in the Bronx, honoring those who played in the pinstripes. To kick off the Fall Classic, the Yankees hosted games 1 and 2, winning both by scores of 5-3 and 10-3. The Dodgers won a high-scoring affair in Game 3 by a run, then followed that up with another one-run win in Game 4 to even the series. The Yankees fought back to take the final game in Brooklyn 2-1, claiming a 3-2 series lead as the teams went back to the Bronx. They failed to clinch at home in Game 6, falling 8-6 in front of 74,065 Yankees faithful. But they did seal the deal the following day. Game 7 took place on October 6th, seeing the Yankees win the game 5-2 and close out their 11th World Series. For all the Yankees' dominance, this was only the third time a World Series celebration actually happened inside of Yankee Stadium. During the celebration, a bit of a scandal broke out when team president Larry MacPhail made a fool of himself both at the stadium and out in town. It was embarrassing enough for his co-owners Dan Topping and Del Webb to buy out MacPhail's shares in the team and force him out. Despite the ownership scandal, the Yankees tried to defend their pennant valiantly in 1948, winning 94 games, but finishing only in third place. Tragically, in the middle of the season, on August 16th, the great Babe Ruth passed away from throat cancer. He was given a 2-day open casket funeral at Yankee Stadium, where the event also marked the 25th anniversary of the ballpark's opening. The same building that had once roared at his home runs now stood silent around him. The man who was the reason Yankee Stadium existed was gone. Regardless of the solid season, the finish was disappointing enough for Topping and Webb to relieve Yankees manager Bucky Harris of his duties and replace him with Casey Stengel. Stengel immediately returned the Yankees to dominance, finishing out his first season with a 97, 57, and 1 record and an American League pennant for the 16th time. Their dominant play led the Yankee Stadium to hosting a league-leading 2.28 million fans, and yet another appearance in the World Series against the Dodgers. Early in the season, on April 19th, the Yankees world paused for a tribute as Yankee Stadium hosted a monument ceremony for Babe Ruth, erecting his monument beside those of his manager and his teammate, to be immortalized for eternity, and standing as a reminder to the enduring dominance of Yankees baseball. The 1949 World Series proved to be a little less stressful than the 7-game affair that the Yankees and Dodgers played in '47. The first 2 games were in the Bronx, seeing the teams split the 2 games, both by a score of 1-0. The series pivoted to Brooklyn, where the Yankees dominated, taking all 3 games at Ebbets Field and easily bringing championship number 12 back to the Bronx. They improved their record in 1950 by 1 game, finishing with 98 wins, good for yet another American League pennant. This time, it was a little closer, with the Yankees finishing only 3 games ahead of the Tigers. fans at Yankee Stadium were treated to yet another MVP performance, this time by shortstop Phil Rizzuto. At the end of the season, they met a new foe in the World Series, the National League winning Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies were a good team in 1950, winning 91 games, but they were no match for the machine that was the New York Yankees. The games were all close, but the Yankees took the series in a sweep. Games 1 and 2 were in Philadelphia, with the Yankees winning 2 close games 1-0 and 2-1. Back in New York, they claimed another one-run win 3-2, before closing the series out 5-2 in Game 4 and initiating only their 5th World Series celebration at home. The 1951 season felt different from the start, because 1951 was both a beginning and an ending. That spring, a young public address announcer named Bob Shepard was hired to work games in the Bronx. His voice, precise, resonant, and reverent, would soon become inseparable from the identity of Yankee Stadium. Decades later, he would be called the Voice of God. But in 1951, he was simply a man who made the announcements. Joe DiMaggio, the wartime morale booster, the 56-game hit streak legend, the quiet icon, was entering what would be his final season. And right there to take his place was Mickey Mantle, a 19-year-old switch hitter from Oklahoma playing out his rookie year. The facade was the same, the stadium, the field, the uniforms, the winning. The only thing that seemed to change were the names of the men doing it. The Yankees once again won 98 games. Third baseman Gil McDougald won the Rookie of the Year, and the team captured the pennant by 5 games over Cleveland. It was their 3rd straight and 18th overall pennant. Attendance remained robust, as just under 2 million fans filled Yankee Stadium throughout the summer, and their spunky catcher, Yogi Berra, was awarded the American League MVP. In the Yankees' 18th appearance in the World Series, this was the 6th time that they were matched up with their old rivals, the Giants. Yankee Stadium was the site for Game 1 on October 4th, where the Yankees left their fans disappointed after a 5-1 Giants win. Revenge was had the next day as the Yankees evened the series with a 3-1 final. As was customary when these two met in the series, there was no days off for travel due to the proximity of the stadiums. Games 3 and 4 both ended with scores of 6-2, with the Giants taking the former and the Yankees winning the latter. Another Yankees win ensued behind an offensive explosion in Game 5, 13-1, before the series moved back to Yankee Stadium, with the Yankees on the verge of their 2nd ever three-peat. 61,711 fans filed into Yankee Stadium on October 10, 1951, in the hopes of seeing the Yankees celebrate another championship. And they did just that. In a game that wasn't as close as its final score, the Yankees won 4-3 and clinched their franchise's 14th title. In what would be the final Subway Series between the Giants and Yankees, the Yankees claimed permanent bragging rights, and on the same field that paid its respects to both Ruth and Gehrig, DiMaggio said goodbye as a champion. Thank you for watching The Bad Baseball Fan. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the origins of Yankee Stadium, consider subscribing and join me for Part 5.